In this video, I'll reveal 5 highly livable cities across the US with no gun violence issues. You might be wondering, how is that even possible in a country with over 400 million guns? What exactly are these cities doing right? And who are the people behind these results? If you're from places like Chicago, St. Louis, or Baltimore and thinking of a safer life, stick around, because the answers may surprise you. Let's start in the northeastern part of the country, Burlington, Vermont. This picturesque city not only boasts vibrant culture and stunning scenery, but also one of the lowest rates of gun violence in the nation. As of the latest CDC data, Vermont's gun homicide rate is just 1.3 per 100,000 people, significantly below the national average of 6.6. And Burlington, the state's largest city, consistently shows near zero gun homicides year over year. But who's making this happen? Former Burlington Police Chief Brandon Del Pozo, a former NYPD officer with a PhD in public health, initiated one of the most progressive community policing models in the Northeast. His strategy focused on integrating mental health professionals into routine calls and emphasizing de-escalation over force. His successor, Jennifer Morrison, continued this momentum by working closely with local social services and launching Rapid Intervention Community Court, which diverts nonviolent offenders into treatment rather than jail. Despite Vermont's relaxed gun laws, including no permit requirement for carrying firearms, Burlington proves that a strong civic culture and proactive leadership can outperform even strict gun control in some cases. Compare this with cities like Philadelphia or Baltimore, which struggle with deep-rooted mistrust between police and residents. In Burlington, residents actually know their local officers by name, and with a high rate of civic engagement, well-funded public schools, and a high median income, Burlington's safety isn't a fluke, it's a blueprint. So what's the common thread among Burlington, Irvine, Plano, Amherst, and Naperville? It's not just wealth, it's not just education, and it's definitely not gun laws alone. These cities succeed because of intentional governance, where leadership doesn't wait for violence to erupt. They act before it ever begins. They use data, invest in early intervention, and promote collaboration over confrontation. Police chiefs like Ed Drain and Jennifer Morrison have shown how to lead with both strength and sensitivity. City planners and mayors like Scott Wehrle and Brian Culpa understand that you can't enforce your way into peace. You have to design it through schools, walkable neighborhoods, social services, and yes, even architecture. Contrast that with cities like St. Louis, where gun violence is often concentrated in under-resourced neighborhoods that were historically redlined. Or New Orleans, where budget cuts have left law enforcement overburdened and reactive. What these safe cities prove is this: gun violence isn't inevitable. It's preventable, with the right people, the right priorities, and the right plans. And for those living in high-risk places wondering if there's a way out, there is. You just have to know where to look. Next up, Irvine, California, a city that didn't just happen to be safe. It was designed that way from the start. Irvine has consistently ranked as one of the safest cities in the United States by FBI uniform crime reporting. In 2022, the city had a gun homicide rate approaching zero, unmatched for a city with over 300,000 people. So, who built this safety? A large part of the credit goes to former police chief Mike Hamill, who implemented a comprehensive Safe Cities strategy. It combined predictive policing, smart city surveillance, and relentless community engagement. But the roots go deeper. Irvine was developed in the 1970s as a master-planned community. Streets are wide and well-lit, neighborhoods are separated by greenbelts, and there's a clear emphasis on mixed-use development and walkability. This design discourages crime by reducing high-conflict zones like dense intersections or shadowy alleyways. The city also enforces strict zoning laws, keeping liquor stores, nightclubs, and gun shops far from residential zones. What makes Irvine stand out even more is the contrast with its surroundings. Just 40 miles north is Los Angeles, a city that reported over 350 gun homicides in 2022 alone. Despite being part of the same state, the two cities couldn't be more different when it comes to safety. What ensures Irvine's future security? A high-income, highly educated population, robust tech sector employment, and a city council that routinely funds public safety above all else. Now let's travel to upstate New York, specifically Amherst, a suburb of Buffalo that stands in stark contrast to its urban neighbor. While Buffalo grapples with significant gun violence, Amherst routinely reports zero gun homicides in recent years, according to FBI crime statistics. That's not by accident. Under the direction of Police Chief Scott Chamberlain, Amherst has adopted policies that focus on de-escalation training, mental health co-response units, and an emphasis on building trust within the community. The Amherst Police Department even partners with Crisis Services of Western New York to respond to calls involving mental health concerns without drawing a firearm. Why is this so effective? Amherst has a predominantly suburban layout with strong community institutions, great public schools, low unemployment, and one of the highest public service satisfaction ratings in the state. Unlike cities that rely solely on policing to reduce violence, Amherst takes a systems approach. Town Supervisor Brian Culpa has advocated for land use reforms that promote community safety, like walkable neighborhoods and pedestrian-friendly shopping centers. The contrast to Buffalo, just 10 miles away, is stark. In 2022, Buffalo recorded over 60 gun-related homicides, many of which stemmed from gang activity and economic inequality. In Amherst, coordinated governance and inclusive public planning have created an ecosystem where violence has nowhere to hide. Now let's go to Texas, where gun ownership is high, but in Plano, gun violence is strikingly low. Despite being just 20 miles from Dallas, which reports hundreds of gun-related homicides annually, Plano consistently records single-digit firearm death incidents per year. So, what's their secret? Plano Police Chief Ed Drain, a veteran with over 3 decades of experience, runs a tight ship. His department emphasizes community policing, early intervention with at-risk youth, and neighborhood patrols that build trust rather than fear. Texas doesn't have strict gun laws. There are no permits required for open or concealed carry, but Plano thrives anyway. One big reason, the city's demographics and education levels. Plano boasts a median household income of over $95,000, with over 50% of residents holding bachelor's degrees or higher. These aren't just numbers, they correlate directly with lower crime rates, especially violent ones. Plano is also home to several corporate headquarters, including Toyota's North American division, which fuels a strong economy and low unemployment, 2 factors that keep crime in check. Compare this to Houston, where economic disparity is wider and policing strategies are often reactive. In Plano, proactive leadership and public-private partnerships play a huge role in maintaining peace. And with robust after-school programs, public libraries, and youth mentorship initiatives, Plano is investing in its future, a future with even less need for emergency response. Our final stop is Naperville, Illinois, just a 35-minute drive from Chicago, one of the most gun-violent cities in America. Chicago recorded over 600 gun-related homicides in 2022. Naperville? 0. How can 2 places so geographically close be so different? Naperville has been governed with a community-first mindset. Mayor Scott Wehrle and Police Chief Jason Aris lead a city that prioritizes transparency, citizen input, and active community patrols. One key factor is Naperville's focus on youth programs and education. The city funds a wide range of extracurricular activities, from STEM clubs to mental health workshops, that keep kids off the streets and engaged in positive communities. There's also a robust neighborhood watch program and consistent town hall meetings where residents speak directly with law enforcement officials. While Chicago battles systemic problems like housing shortages and entrenched gang culture, Naperville benefits from strong zoning laws, a high employment rate, and a well-funded public safety department. Here, every element of governance works together, not just to punish crime, but to prevent it entirely.